on the waterfall way down in there. That's a rare spawn, actually. So you like to see that. Like to get the observers on it whenever we can here. But the level 1 is out. Comfortable champions for these players. Avenger with 2 victories on the Annie there in the mid lane. Vex, you got to be careful of this if you want to win. Meanwhile, Bowl on Jax. Jax is the most played champion in CBLOL this split so far, Yeso.
My initial instinct is just to say you love to see it, but I don't know if that's true. I don't know that top lane players feel that way, but I'm a classic Jax fan. He's one of the 2 champions that I have a pentakill on in my League of Legends days. So I love Jax, and I think that's pretty cool. So I don't know, see him in the top lane.
It's pretty cool.
I'm a fan of it personally. Okay, I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I like seeing Jackson in the top lane. He was a lot worse earlier in the season than he is now. So I'll give him credit for that. But man, oh man, am I ever tired of just dying to Jax's in solo queue. It feels so bad every single time it happens because there's just not a lot of counterplay, in my opinion. But yeah, it will be up there. Topside with FMB on Gragas. A super neutralizing game from FMB, who's normally so aggressive. So,
wow.
I was thinking about it. I'm pretty sure. They're going to continue trading here.
Yeah, and you know what? Might not be on the Annie pick, but Scamber is scambering in that bottom lane, forcing an early flash there from Trigo on this rel. So that's the kind of start that you want for this red bottom lane. We talked last game about punishing the Xayah, and really your best window is pre-6, and not having that flash available makes that just a little bit more tenable.
You can see Trigo's thinking, and really you have to think about the bandage toss, right? From here on out, now that you've blown your flash, the cleanse just isn't going to cut it, right? So you want to make sure you're backing all the way off and letting them push into you. Just the 4 CS so far for the Xayah. Meanwhile, Goot's trying to perma-clear 6 camps, going to walk over the ward, and that is going to really wreck his clear. As far as what he could do before 6 minutes into this game, I don't think you can even realistically go top now. Bull's going to be on the back foot, ready to push off and get away from that gank as well. Nothing really you can make happen mid. He's going to... Okay, no, we're over the wall now. What are we doing, Goot? What's going on, buddy? Just totally gave up on the clear. He says he's got to do something now.
Wants to get in on Avenger, and actually with that being going down on Avenger, maybe wants to commit to clear out these range minions, and that is going to be Envy forcing out the flash from Avenger. Goot was there, and the summoner spell's down. Yeah, and I mean, that just means Goot's going to be back here in the next, 2 to 3 minutes, right? Is going to try and punish that Annie as best he can.
Yeah, I think so. Super immobile now without the flash, obviously. And but yeah, the clear is a bit of an issue here for him. I would go ahead and say. So H is a double buff. So we got the transition gank through the mid lane. He's gonna double scuttle on Goot. Here's the try cut for us. We even got one of the junglers in. Look at that, pretty good stuff. But we'll trade down bot side. Titan takes the brunt of that damage.
Yep, IU getting in there and Titan down at about half health. I really want to set the stage here for the folks at home, Axeman, and kind of get your opinion on this game. These 2 teams coming in, playoff implications for both, right? We already talked about Furia trying to secure that last spot in playoffs, but even Red, who are guaranteed to go to playoffs, have a lot to fight for because they want to avoid that 5th seed, avoid starting playoffs in the lower bracket. So a bunch at stake for them. Then you consider Furia has lost 3 of their last 4 games, whereas Red has won 4 of their last 5. Taking all of that into context and then looking at the drafts for both of these teams, who were you feeling the best about in this game, Axeman?
I think it's really easy to feel better about Red in the head-to-head between these 2 teams because they just have better stats overall across the split, not even just the last 5 games, but just overall are the better team. But Furia have really been on an upswing in terms of what they're able to accomplish as a roster, which I think is really positive for them. Sometimes in CBL, we just kind of look at the record, and remember, it's all best of ones, man. I don't really take it into account. You lose best of ones over nothing. I mean, we've all played solo queue, we've all played League of Legends. Sometimes you just lose a game, and it's not really because you did anything. Maybe a teammate did something, or you got super super close on one play, but somebody just lived with 5 HP or something like that, and you miscalculated. It happens all the time. And I think Furia overall are a very, very good team. I think they're certainly on par with Red. And the draft, I think you talked about a little bit here, very positive for them as well. I think this allows them to really utilize the tools and utilize the momentum they built up over the last couple weeks to execute into the victory here. We'll have to see. I'm really worried about the top side of the map so far. It is not looking super good for Furia.
I think you make a lot of great points there. I do want to note, a little bit of extra context for everybody at home that is important to remember coming into this game is the fact that in the head-to-head, Furia actually won the first meeting between both of these teams. It was quite a while ago. I'm double checking here to make sure I have it at the right time. All the way back in...
Would have been early.
See it on here. All the way back in week 4. These two teams met and Furia won. And that was after a very strong start from Red, right? Because they started 4-0. They were, or I should say 5-0. They were on a tear at the start of the split, and Furia was one of those early teams to take them down. So Furia, I think, probably comes into this match with a lot of confidence as well. And of course, they, as we've already said, control their destiny. They know what they have to do. They don't care about any of the other games. They just focus on preparing for theirs. Everything else will take care of itself if they can take care of business. So I think there is a lot to believe in here for Furia. So we'll keep an eye on that here as this game continues. A little bit less of an action-packed game than our last one here in the early going, as we're just about 7.5 minutes in, and we've seen some trading in a few lanes, but no early dives, and we'll have to see if maybe this is the catalyst for some action, as Red maybe wants to contest for this Drake adventure is roaming down, and Aegis has arrived, and of course Teleport's not going to come in here, but a wonderful stun there, and that's going to be Aegis getting over the wall, and its first blood secured for Scamber and Red Canids.
It's what I'm talking about every time you ASO in this league is that Amumu just bandage tosses and press ultimate, and then you win the fight every single time, man. So I guess it technically comes down to a spacing issue from CBLOL teams, but I mean, if they're going to be bunched up like that consistently, just take advantage. Pick the Amumu. It's so strong. And we see it come through here in the replay. You'll see everything come out in bold-face detail here. The Vex ult going wide is super bad for him. That's their primary engage, right? But yeah, Aegis kind of stands center mass. You pull the trigger, it's like a shotgun, right? Hits everybody reliably with a bunch of damage. I think flashing over the wall was pretty good. I think that's Trigo that flashed that wall to try to get away, but it just didn't end up working out for him. And of course, they get the dragon off the back of the skirmish as well.
Yeah, and ultimately, it's also great initial setup by Scamber to kind of lock down those targets against the wall and force the initial flash, and then just good placement there by Aegis with the ultimate. And I mean, it comes down to, the same problem you run into with any champion that has those big AoE abilities. Probably the most common one that comes up is the Rumble, right? You never want to fight a Rumble in the jungle because it's so much easier for him to set up that ultimate and really cause problems with your team. You could apply that same methodology to an Amumu. It's so much more difficult because of the size of that ultimate, and then forcing yourself into those constricted spaces of the jungle to get away from this champion. And Aegis got exactly what he was looking for. 3-man stun. They grab first blood, and that's Red off to a nice start here.
The best part about it, and we talked about it for a while, but I mean, Goose about to get an uncontested Rift Herald, and I'm going to get mad about that if I don't talk about something else. So,
Go off, my friend.
So what I will say is that, things like the Rumble ult and the bullet time from Misfortune and Amumu ult, all these big AoE ults can shut off channels and stuff like that, but there's an element of like inevitability too in League of Legends too, where it's like, okay, well, we can't fight in channels. We'll just fight somewhere else. What you can't. I mean, you have to push through a channel, right? Because you have to, for starters, get into the enemy base at some point. That's a channel, right? You have to fight through. All these objectives you have to push through.
Ooh,
Okay, here we go. Oh, Envy's just super
wow.
dead.
The flash tippers, they're on to Envy. Envy going to survive for a little bit, but that's going to be Scamber picking up a second kill. And the communication from the Red, Titan and Scamber in the back pocket of Avenger.
Oh,
And
wow.
immediately ready to go in for the engage. They secure the kill on Envy. And Bull almost taking down F&B. They're in that 1v1, the ultimate, just enough to create space there for F&B to get out of trouble. But that's a Jax just creating problems in the top lane.
Good stuff for sure. Nice deep vision set up by Aegis, who is just such a good jungler, man. It's so free. The crux of the point I was trying to make is that not only is it really solid in CBLOL, this kind of big AoE channel control thing, but it's also really successful internationally. I mean, MF Amumu compositions, the last Worlds we went to with Loud, that was our bread and butter, man. We were killing it with MF Amumu. We could take down teams like twice our size with that combination. So really like to see it in domestic play because it works so well in international as well. It transitions really easily.
Yeah, and it's the simplicity of the execution, right? Like it's the enemy team knows exactly what you're going to do, right? It's not a mystery. They know it's coming, but these are just very easily and simply executable combos that create havoc for so many players. And as you mentioned, you can only avoid grouping up that tightly for so long. You're gonna make that mistake eventually, or you're gonna have to push through one of those choke points at some point. And the Amumu, the Misfortune, the Rumble, they're going to be waiting with those abilities ready to go for as soon as you make that mistake. So I think that's a great point here. And we'll have to see if maybe going into international play, whoever represents CBLOL and MSI takes a little bit of that with them, building on what Loud was able to do just at Worlds this past year.
I love walking back in a lane and immediately losing half your health to a Jax trade, man. It's
it's
unwinnable for the Gragas. Holy cow. It's just completely untenable. Dragon up in 30 seconds here. It's going to be the Chem Tech Dragon. Then we'll get the soul up for you right after that. I think Red has the angle on this one. Furia trying to mount contests here a little bit. Now Red just going to take the reset, actually. Not too interested in the Dragon, I guess.
I think the one good thing that you could take away, though, from that top lane is you at least know Gragas had a good St. Patty's Day, right? Yeah. He had a couple drinks. He was out with the boys. He had a good time. So, even if he's getting beat down in this lane, he had fun last night. We'll see how things shake out in this matchup. That Chemtech Drake is going to spawn now, and it looks like Furia wants to play for this. They've got Goot down there. Envy trying to get priority. Top laner's not going to be involved whatsoever. Neither of them would teleport unless this gets stalled. You could certainly see Bull and FB abandon this lane and start to walk down to join the team, but I think we're just going to get the straight 4v4 if there's any sort of action here. And Red wants to posture and get Furia away from this objective.
Dangerous time, excuse me, for FMB here. Both top laners are going to realize that the junglers are on the opposite side of the map. This could be the time that they pull the trigger, right? So you want to be careful. If perhaps you think you're behind in this lane. I think these are fairly even. You got the Mythic on FMB, and Bull is just playing Jackson is very strong.
Yep.
We should see the fight over the Dragon here.
They're thinking about it. But Furia, I mean, neither team has just gotten enough vision control and enough priority in the lanes to be ready to pull the trigger. So it just continues to be this dance around this objective for the time being, but the reset coming through from Furia might just open the door enough. Scamber looking to walk in here and clear out some vision. Avenger able to just clear out that wave. And Prowse even in mid and bot, but it's just Red smelling the reset there from Furia, being able to get in here and clear out this vision. And they're going to start it off. But FNB is on his way, so this is going to be a mismatch. If Furia could stall it, FNB would make it the 4v5, and here they come. It's the engage here from IU, but that's going to be Scammer getting onto the back line, but that is Chemtech Drake, secured by Goot, as well as the kills. It's a 2-for-0, and the Drake for Furia.
Yeah, really nice pick on Aegis there to start off that fight, using those pick tools for Furia on the correct target to get the jungler down before the smite came out. Really, really nice play from them. maybe a little bit of a I don't know, less disciplined, kind of a troll build path here for Aegis as well. He was not tanky going into that because he had the demonic embrace. That's going to give you plenty of extra damage and get you really good gank results. But you look at the team fights, some of these skirmishes, and yeah, not good defense from you whatsoever. You look at the health bar on this guy; it's like 1200, right? No resistances or anything like that either, because you don't have any bonus health for the demonic embrace to actually do anything. And yeah, you're just going to get a blown up 5v1. Really nice smite from Goot on the back end there too to pick up the dragon, and they're going to split dragons across Summoner's Rift. A very even game here, yeah. So
Yeah, very nice play there from Furia. The gap economically was not large going into that fight, but it really had felt like Red had pretty solid control of the map through the first 15 minutes of the game. So that was just Furia kind of establishing themselves in this game, reminding Red, hey, we're here, we're ready to throw down. We've got some really great tools to make things happen in these fights, and they did exactly that. But here comes Aegis getting onto Ayu, and Ayu actually able to dash out before the Curse of the Sad Mummy comes through. So that is an Amumu ultimate wasted just for a basic ability there of the Rakan. And that's going to be great for Furia. They know they have a little bit of an opening here to play a little more aggressively.
certainly would make sense. To me, excuse me, having a tough time today. But get the double buffs. They're going to walk up, try and take this Rift Herald down the correct way by unlocking some lanes and not just soloing it up for no reason. Holy cow, man. Nope, I'm not going to get mad about it. They're take down this Rift Herald and then hopefully drop it on something important. We'll see in just a little bit. Reset comes through from Bull as he expects to get. Nope, it's going to stick around. Hopefully we try and dive Bull here. That would be nice. I'm going to let the resets go through.
Furia, though,
smite?
it doesn't look like it. Furia, at least showing their work, though, this time around, right? They didn't just
a little bit.
walk up and slap the answer under there. They dotted their I's, they crossed their T's, they took care of business. And this is now Furia with 2 Rift Heralds and the Chemtech Drake, right? Minor gold lead here, about 1,300 at this point, and they've also taken first tower. So while Red were in pretty firm control there, as I just mentioned, for the first 12 to 15 minutes, Furia have very quickly established themselves in this mid game, and they've got some tools to snowball that with that Rift Herald on Goot. So keep an eye on where this Vi goes, because they're likely going to look for a play around that Rift Herald here very soon.
Yeah, we're looking for that to come through in a little bit. Minute 45 seconds on the next dragon as well. Be aware of some of these primary engage tools. We talked about the Amumu at length, the bandage toss, the ultimate there for the Amumu as well. Big, I think it's called Magnet Storm. As Rel's ultimate,
I believe so.
Could be.
Yes.
That's also a big engage tool there as well. Lots of big pick tools on the side of Red, but a really, really good team fight from them as well. F&B. Well, I think he's fine. Lots of pick tools for Furia as well, but the team fight is a little lackluster. You're looking for primary engage from Vex ultimate, and also the Rakan grand entrance coming through up with the ultimate there too.
I still miss the days when you could quickly chain the Rakan ultimate into the grand entrance. Yeah, I was an early Rakan adopter. I get why they nerfed it, because it was just the ability for Rakan to basically dash into a fight from well outside of your screen and instantly chained that charm into the knockup was busted. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss it, because it was so much fun to just instant dash and knock up 3 of your team. But we're going to have to see what Ayu can do here, because looking to dash in, trying to follow Goot, and that's going to be Avenger going gold to deny the engage there from Goot. And it's just Scamper on the back line here, right alongside Aegis, but they're going to get taken out. Trigo doing work here, but the question is, can the re-engage get this going here for Red? Good cast there from FNB to deny the push. It's a double kill here for Trigo, who is somehow still alive. It is a 2-for-1 trade here in favor of Furia.
Good trade there from Furia, just before the objective as well. They're going to set up the vision here, take the resets come through, and things going to neutralize across Summoner's Rift. So, really big Trigo game so far this game. Super big 2-0-2 there. The Zaya has been massive in CBLOL over the last few weeks. Here's a replay coming through.
And it's the initial TP for the flank here from FNB that is the go button. And Goot says, ult onto Avenger, let's go. And Avenger goes gold, but now it's Scamper and Aegis in the backline, but they just don't have the damage to deal with this Zyrakan combo.
Yeah, they don't really have the damage there, unfortunately. Scamber, yeah, doesn't feel super good in the back line either. The Magnet Storm, I don't think worth the rel pick, if I'm honest, but he's got 2 kills, which is the most on his team, so maybe he's putting in the most work. I don't know. How we're feeling about that one. We get 2 turrets off of the Rift Herald play, and we're going to drop back on the Dragon 2, taking the jungle camps away from Red now as Furia really start to build this lead here.
Yeah.
Oh, surely we get the Dragon, fellas. No, let them have the Baron. They can't do it at 20 minutes. What are we doing? No, just get the Dragon.
I mean, I think Furia wants to, as you used earlier on in our broadcast, they want to have their cake and eat it too. They maybe saw a handful of kills there floating around in that topside river. They don't end up going for it. Red has to back off here. And it now looks like Red is going to take the Drake. How do you feel about that one, Axeman?
Give him the Baron, man. They're not going to be able to do anything with it. Just take the Dragon. But yeah, I also don't think that you take Dragon on spawn that quick if you're Red. So I'm just not super worried about them starting up the Baron. I think you just take the Dragon and call it as it is. Red are going to stay super strong, rolling the death ball back up top. They're like looking as if they're going to take the Baron here too. Flash from Envy. Holy moly, what are we doing?
That's Envy just expecting that instant Tibbers when an Avenger comes into range. That is Envy just predicting that instant stun to come out from the Annie, I feel like, and is just taking the safe play, knowing that he is the most vulnerable member there and doesn't want to get picked off. So elects to spend that summoner spell to get back to safety. And Furia in a great spot, up 3 towers to 1. About a 3,500 gold lead here. They want to start the Baron for themselves. So while they didn't pick up that second Drake, that I think I'm on the same page as you, Axeman. I think they just should have taken that Drake and dare Red to try and take that Baron early and possibly still get up there in time to challenge. They don't, but now they want the Baron for themselves, and maybe it's just a bait. Maybe they just want the fight because Red has arrived here in this topside river, and they look ready to go. It's going to be the engage here initially on Aegis. Aegis looking maybe for that good Curse of the Sad Mummy. He has to back away, but they've already taken out Goot. Big kill there for Avenger, and now Furia has to back away, and now it'll be control of Baron over to Red.
The ultimates from Envy in this game have been super tragic. I don't think we've actually seen one connect yet. Which is not good, right? I mean, you don't pick this champion if you can't throw it into a channel, if you can't get the ability to connect on to somebody, right? Not always the primary target, not always what you're hoping for, but just onto somebody. It's kind of the same rules as Enchanted Crystal Arrow too, right? You're just kind of throwing into channels and hoping it connects, and then trying to play off it as best you can, and you hit more skill shots when you just throw them in high traffic areas rather than trying to aim them at somebody because the missile speed is so slow. And yeah, I don't think he's connected a single one in any of these team fights. I don't think the Vex pick is all that good for him. The thing about Vex and the thing about Ashe and the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, all those big, like slow, but extremely damning abilities, is that you only have to hit one in the super late game for it to be worth it.
Yeah.
So, the jury's still out on Envy, but it has not looked good so far this game.
Yeah, I think Rocks Tigers would probably have to agree with you. You just hit one, and it'll mean everything. So,
one's
good
all you
point
need.
there. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Take a look at the gold. Not a huge surprise to see Trigo at the top here, 2-0-2 on the Zaya. 245 CS has been pretty heavily funneled in terms of the economy here for the side of Furia in a very good spot. We've already talked about it a couple times. It's going to be very difficult to lock down, especially when you add on the Rakan on top of that, right? The Rakan that much stronger when paired up with that Zaya is able to walk away and still dash back to safety and protect her that much easier. So it's going to be tough to take Trigo down. It's likely going to take a very well-placed bandage toss into a Curse of the Sad Mummy to hopefully lock down this target long enough for Avenger to come in and dump every spell he has onto this target.
Yeah.
It's not a guarantee though, because Trigo is going to be difficult to deal with.
And he really has hit Exodia here too with the death cap, the 10 stacks on the mythic there as well. It's just kind of that mid game mage, the Ari, and here just big ultimate directly on IU. They're not going to get the pick off, unfortunately. That is Tibbers down.
And they at least force the flash out of the Rakan, which is huge because Rakans love to use that flash aggressively to get into range, to extend that engage range from the Rakan. When you talk about the double dash and the grand entrance available, adding that flash just makes him even more dangerous. So a little less safe, and Red feeling a little bit more confident that it's going to be harder for IU to get onto those priority targets. Looks like it's going to be the reset here from Furia, and the question is, what does Red want to play here? They've struggled to get vision control of the river, which means they don't necessarily have all the information that this reset has come through. They're going to clear out some of these wards. Do they start the Baron? Doesn't look like it. They're just going to go for the reset, take the vision they've been able to pick up, and back away.
Yeah, for sure. They will back away a little bit here. It's weird seeing FMB play this style of not just champion, but just like this play style in general in the side lane. Perma farm. He's got the most CS on the map right now, except for Trigo and also Titan. But he's super hard CS. He's got this big item lead, which is cool as well, but not how we normally see him play. They're going to start up the Baron here. FMB's going to walk in. He's going to deal so much damage. Watch this.
Got to be careful. Age is going to have to back off. It's Goot getting caught forward once again, dashing in and getting punished. But the problem, they turned that around onto the support. Scamber is down. What can Red get done here? The dash in from Teton. That is huge. It's a shutdown there on the Trigo. That's the target you needed to find. Well done, Red.
Yeah, nicely done from Red. Age is in trouble now.
Yeah, and this is a problem with both junglers down. That means that Red can't turn for that Baron. And this maybe means that Furia evens up the Drake count.
Yeah, even up the Dragons a little bit here. Tons of damage coming out of FMB. Trigo dealing a lot of damage there in that fight as well. Really nicely done. I think if FMB hits one more Q, and if that ult hits literally anybody, Yeso, he has the most damage in that fight. But I feel super vindicated. Watch this barrel toss, man. This ultimate from Gragas. It's so cursed. Like, it's center mass. It looks super good. So he gets the bump forward Q. It's no one, bro. Like, come on. I don't understand. But
he's just out there shooting hoops, man. Come on.
Just right down the middle, bro. I don't understand.
Everybody in the CBLOL studio just heard FMB yell out, Kobe, as he tossed his ultimate. And I mean, he hit the shot, right? Right in the middle.
Yeah, right in the middle. That's where you want it. But I guess the spacing was just perfect there. This is not FMV's POV. That would be funny if it was, though. But yeah, that's incredible. It's fun seeing which players play windowed mode. Those dudes are crazy. Like, I don't know how you do that.
So cursed. The same thing with
I don't like all that.
With directed cam or lock screen, right?
Camera lock. Oh yeah.
Camera lock. That's so cursed.
Yeah,
I'm very glad
with the weird flicker F key things. That's cursed. All that stuff.
Oh, I mean,
League players are awful, bro.
Faker, that is just next level, right? And I've learned over the years, and it's part of the reason why I will like always be permastuck gold, right? I'm peaking gold, and that's it. It's because I'm never gonna be able to learn and teach myself to like hotkey looking at lanes very quickly the way that Faker does, right? I'm never gonna get to that level, but I'm not even incentivized to like, all right, let's start working with these binds. I'm like, look, it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna click on my mini map. It's gonna be slower. It's whatever. Pro players are crazy good. It's scary to watch sometimes.
It is very scary. We saw the last game with the instant simultaneous teleports from both solo laners. That was weird. I was like, oh, okay, cool, awesome, good.
Couldn't be me.
This is cool and not robots.
Yep. It's just on
For
another level, my friend. And
yeah.
Furia, looking to
Ooh,
do that here with the Baron. Teleport flank coming in from Bull on the other
from
side of the pit. They are going to
Bull.
have this like huge flash hit from Aegis. The Curse of the Sad Mummy looks up everybody
Whoa!
on Furia. They are just disintegrating. It's a double kill for Titan, and Red demolishes Furia.
Aegis, he did it, man. This is what I'm talking about every single
Oh,
time. It only takes one, and Aegis gets his one. Holy cow. What? Like, what? Please give us the replay. I'm begging you. I need to see this again. That was so cool. Yeah, just a bandage sauce ultimate. One the easiest combos you can hit in League of Legends. It's so effective here. I think it hits all 5. It definitely hits
It
4.
it was 4. I just missed it on the call because I think it's FMB that steps a little higher, but it's the flash in and just the Curse of the Sad Mummy of your dreams. Walk me through this one, Axeman.
This is a blessed Curse of the Sad Money. You need a bandage shot. He just flashes forward. It's the
Yeah.
ultimate. It could not be easier to play this champion, and it literally wins the game for you. Please pick it more. CBLOL, I'm begging you.
Oh.
IU makes it out there, able to get away. But yeah, God, man, like he just makes it look so easy. And the best part is, it really is that easy too. So. I don't even think he used bandage sauce in that fight. I think he actually just flashed forward and ulted, and that was it. But yeah, that's incredible. They will win the game off the back of that play. I fully believe this Baron power play is going to give them another like 4K gold lead or something like that, and they're off to the races.
And that's a play that just completely turns this entire game on its head, because while Red started off strong, since the 15-minute mark, Furia has controlled this game. They have dictated the pace. They've been the team forcing Red off of Baron. They're the ones that have had the priority on that objective. But Aegis with one beautiful blast cone into Flash, into Curse of the Sad Mummy to lock down everybody but Envy, in fact, was the one that stepped up closer to top lane. And it's just the dog pile comes in from Red, and they absolutely wipe that fight. That was so impressive. And yeah, I mean, look, it's a very straightforward champion to play. You know, low, the skill floor fairly low, but the reward so incredibly high when you execute on it the way Aegis did there.
100%. We haven't really talked about the follow-up so far from Red, just kind of like how you just win fights off the back of the Curse of the Sad Mummy. The
Sure.
follow-up is crazy. Like, you're not going to win fights with just a Mumu. There's a 4-item Kai'Sa here. It's 4 and 5. Titan is the best AD carry in the league. And that's also why they're winning these fights. This big AoE damage from the champion can follow up super quickly with the ultimate there too. So that's a big reason why they're winning this game, as well as the follow-up is just so fast. Bull with the Mondo flank there was able to respond super quickly to the CC as well and drop that damage down real quick. Avenger, of course, big AoE damage with Tibbers. So it doesn't just like single-handedly win you the game if you're trying to get into solo queue and thinking like Mumu's going to save you or anything like that. No, this is a pro team that's executing on a comp really, really effectively, but it's just so free for Aegis as a player that it's incredible we don't see more of these Amumu comps, right? Like, I don't want to say a lot of CBLOL teams have bad junglers, but like, if your jungler's having a tough time, just put him on Amumu and like tell him to flash forward and ult, and it's just it's actually so easy.
Yeah, and then I mean, all Aegis does there too is hand off, right? He just hands the ball off to then Scamber and Avenger, because as soon as you get that multi-target Curse of the Sad Mummy, it's very easy for that Magnet Storm to chain onto multiple people. Avenger's easily going to just dunk Tibbers on top of multiple targets and get that AoE damage that you already hit on, and everybody's stunned. So, you know, Titan has his pick of the litter to dash in with his ultimate and start throwing out the Acathian Rain. So everything goes wrong when you get caught in that Curse of the Sad Mummy, because then Red can easily chain everything else in their composition. And yeah, Bull on the flank there with that teleport, just well set up to close in on Fury and wipe them out. And now it just feels like Red just taking care of business, cleaning up the mess here on Summoner's Rift and slowly pushing their way towards Furia's base and an 11th win on the season.
Yeah, and of course, as much as we like to, or as much as we have been talking about the big engages from
Yes.
Red, they've been playing really well around the tools that Furry have as well. Because it's not like Furry drafted a bunch of schlub champions that can't engage or anything like that.
Mhm.
Like, you have big engage tools, big team fight tools as well, but it's all about spacing. Right, it has been all about spacing in this team fight. We kind of joked around FNB not hitting that big ultimate, but it's not because it wasn't for lack of trying or that FNB threw it wrong. It was just big,
Mhm.
wide open spacing from Red, using literally every last pixel of the river to try and spread out so that ultimate was only ever going to hit 2 of them, maybe. And you know, you could force this onto like Envy ultimate as well too, right? That ultimate hasn't connected very often onto the feather storm here too. No one's really dying to these feather storms. That's all because we're spreading out and spacing effectively, and something Red is doing really well. Meanwhile, Furry are like just stacking at every single point. They're always in arm's reach of each other, which is not helping them whatsoever.
Yeah, and I also feel like Goot has been a non-factor, right? It feels like every time Goot is going in for that Vi ultimate, Red is doing just a good job of one, maintaining that spacing that you're already talking about, so that, you know, if you get a follow-up from Envy or FMB there, you're likely still only hitting the single target that Goot's been able to lock down. But it feels like every time that Goot is dashing in to try and make a play in these fights, all that attention just turns to that Vi, and she disappears in the blink of an eye, and then all of a sudden Furia is fighting now down 4v5.
Certainly here, and things come into a slower portion of this
Uh,
game. Red, I get a little bit of damage going on here. Titan's
the
trying to play
death
bait a little
brush.
bit.
Uh-huh. Come on, come get me. You want to knock off my guardian angel, don't you? It would be so valuable for you to do so. That's going to be the engage from Titan, going in, playing aggressively with the GA, and doesn't much care. Are you going to dash away from trouble? They are able to take out Titan. That's a big kill, and a huge feather storm locks down a few, and finally Envy with the ult into lockdown Aegis to finish off that kill. Avenger is next. The Annie will not escape. A huge shutdown for Trigo. And just like that, Furia are back in this game.
Little misunderstanding from Red, but also really nice play from Furia, connecting Envy's ultimate onto Titan was super big here. They're able to get Titan down with reasonable effectiveness. Goot actually able to hit that Vi ultimate. They are in danger of potentially losing this game, actually, as they push in very strong, lots of resources for B5. Furia
So
might
long.
just steal the game. You might just steal the game here. I don't know.
They're going to try. Bull's up. It's Bull and Scamber up against the world. Bull's going to go gold to try and buy some time, but Scamber is already dead. 10 seconds on Aegis, 7 on Titan. Bull trying to survive, jumping to the minion.
They're going to win.
He's going to get shut down. That's
Holy
it.
cow.
Just like that, we thought this was
What?
game to win, but a single fight turns it on its head once again. And Furia win.
That's incredible. We said it only takes one, baby.
Are
The
you
Vex ultimate
kidding?
connects onto Titan there, and they get it.